Hello everyone, welcome back again to the channel. I don't know if everybody knows my background, so I wanted to give you a brief summary of why I started this channel. When I became 55, officially a senior citizen, I was overwhelmed with all the issues that I was having. Because I had diabetes, I had kidney failure, a heart surgery, and a kidney transplant. All that seemed to be overwhelming at once. The main reason why it was overwhelming? Because I could not see good coming out of any of this. The worst for me was my stroke. Because like I said, you don't know me. I used to be that guy that my wife would come to open that pickle jar. I was the guy that changed my own oil in the parking lot. I did all the tune-ups myself. But after my stroke, I became a different person. I could not even open a bottle of water on my own. So I felt like I lost my independence. Now I have to open a bottle of water with my right hand because I can't use this hand too well, and my teeth. So the guy that used to open those pickle jars that were too hard for my wife to open, she has to open my bottles of water now. And the stroke caused me to lose my peripheral vision. I can see directly in front of me, but to the left, I see nothing. So since I can't walk around the house without bumping into things, and believe me, I have a long line of bruises all along my left side, showing how clumsy I am, to the point where my wife is even afraid to leave me at home alone. So this was so difficult to get over. It's tough being well at one point of your life and then experiencing tribulation and sickness. It's a curse. And the Bible says you're supposed to be joyful even in tribulation. That was so hard for me to do. But now I finally empathize with my grandfather, who, like me, suffered an unprecedented 7 strokes. I only suffered 2, and it changed my life. He suffered 7. I remember the family calling it intervention to bring Grandpa to our house so we could speak to him. Because we were going to tell Grandfather, who's a very strong-willed Irish man, that he couldn't drive anymore. Nobody told Grandpa what to do. When he said jump, you said how high. But now we're about to tell Grandpa that he can't drive anymore. I remember when he would visit it during that time, I noticed he was a different person even as a child. He couldn't even climb the stairs. So like any good grandchild, I tried to help him. Whenever he needed something to carry, I was there. Whenever there's a door needed to be opened, there was I. But I noticed one thing, that he didn't seem very appreciative. He seemed downright frustrated with me. I went to my mom in tears because I thought I was his favorite grandson. I was the only one that used to visit him every summer in his farm in Kansas. But now he seemed like he hated me. So I went to my mother and said, Mom, why does Grandpa hate me now? She said, why would you say such a thing? I never want to hear you say that again. I said, can't you see the way he treats me? She said, I need you to sit down right now. I need to talk to you to explain something about your grandfather. And she said these words that stuck with me today because I didn't understand what she was saying back then. But now, 50 years later, I understand exactly what she was saying. She said, your grandpa doesn't hate you, but every time you help him, he needs your help, but he doesn't want your help. Because every time you help him, it reminds him how feeble he has become. I didn't really understand what she was talking about back then. Well, how could he be angry at himself? Now that I can't do things on my own, I have that same feeling. It's very tough. I hope my wife, I hope my wife doesn't view me the same way I viewed my grandfather. Like I hate her sometimes because when you can't drive and your wife is reduced to being your chauffeur, you feel like a teenager again, a preteen. Like, remember the time you couldn't go anywhere because you couldn't drive? Mom, can you take me here? Mom, can you take me there? That's what I feel like now. Because I've chosen not to drive on my own. Nobody had to have a family intervention with me. I know that if I can't walk around the house without harming myself, I should not be on the road. So I've chosen not to drive, using wisdom. But it's hard to lose your independence. So it's frustrating. So I see where Grandpa was coming from. I want my wife's help. I need my wife's help, but I just don't want it. I want to go back to being my independent self. So I may react with frustration sometimes without knowing it. I know my grandpa sure did, and I'm named after him. My middle name is Vernon, after John Vernon Ford. Mom always said I was more like a son to my grandfather than a grandson. That's why she was so upset that I thought he hated me. The key word she said, it's not you that he hates, it's himself. He's angry at what he has become. She said, you have to understand the kind of person your grandfather was. He used to ride horses. He played baseball till well into adulthood. That sounds just like me. I was a 300-pound football player, but now I can't even open a bottle of water on my own. It's frustrating. Not just because I'm a man, because anybody wants to be independent. Everybody wants to be able to drive. Everybody wants to be able to do things on their own. But when you lose that, it's very, very difficult.